Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Jason. I'm a Course in Merit student and a channeler. And today I'm coming on just to give a daily dose of hope. This is Daily Dose of Hope Day 39. And what a daily dose of hope is just that, a daily dose of hope. My guides guided me to come on if I wished to give a daily dose of hope because the energies are starting to increase on the earth. Well, not they're starting to increase. They have been increasing and things are getting wackier and wackier. And these are some crazy times. I mean, we've been through some crazy times recently, but things are about to get a little wilder. And so I'm just here trying to give a little hope. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you again. And what I'd like to do today um, is a few things. I want to talk about miracles. I'm a Course in Miracles student, and I want to talk about. In the beginning of the book, they have like what are miracles, and they have like a list of I think there's like 50 or so like definitions of what they are, and they're just amazing stuff. And I remember when I first started reading it, like I had no idea it didn't make any sense. Hey, Maria, good evening. Yeah, good evening to you too. Yeah, and I had no idea, what it meant. I knew that it really struck me, but I didn't understand it. And now having gone through the course and reading the book and everything like that, it seems to make a little bit more sense to me. So I'm going to read okay, so the meaning of miracles. I'm going to talk about the 80% syndrome, which I just learned about. I thought was very interesting. I'm going to talk about the solar eclipse and yeah, that's it, I think. All right, so here we go. Let me just read through a few of these miracle things just to set the mood. These miracle things. Let me just read through. So this is from the beginning of the book, chapter 1, the meaning of miracles, the principle of miracles. And I've just pick and choose a few of them that I really, really love. And I recommend if you're interested, go and read them all. They're really cool. Okay, so here we go. So this is all. The whole book is a course in miracles. And what is a miracle? A miracle is, from just my definition, for what I've learned from this book, it's basically us pulling down something from a higher dimension into this dimension um, to help us to remember who we are. That's basically, I think, what a miracle is. Um, and so the miracles, they don't follow the laws of our third dimensional world. Sometimes they don't follow the laws of physics, for example. Yeah, like the most common, the easiest way to explain it is the Jesus changed the water into wine. And by our logic, it's impossible. But as a miracle, it's simple. But so let me go into this though. Here we go. So, number 13, miracles are both beginnings and endings, and so they alter the temporal order. They are always affirmations of rebirth, which seem to go back but really go forward. They undo the past in the present and thus release the future. Right? Can sound very cryptic. They're both beginnings and endings, and they alter the temporal order. So the idea is that time is just a perception. Time doesn't really exist. It's just an illusion that we use. So what a miracle does is it undoes the past in the present. So we're thinking in the present, we're always kind of coloring what we see with our past experiences. Like, well, in the past, when this happened, so I should do this, rather than looking at this as a wholly new situation. So it undoes the past and the present and releases the future because we're creating the future in our minds as we think. So that's that one. Number 15 says, each day should be devoted to miracles. The purpose of time is to enable you to learn how to use time constructively. It is thus a teaching device and a means to an end. Time will cease when it is no longer useful in facilitating learning, right? Just a tool. Time is a tool to help you to use time constructively. Okay, by making miracles. And then here we go. 17. Miracles transcend the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility, away from the bodily level. That is why they heal. Right? So this is what I was talking about as a miracle is pulling something down from another dimension outside of our bodies, something outside of what we see, because we are not our bodies. And so when we do that, it's a proof that we're not our body, that we're more than this. And that is why they heal. Yes, and they heal because we cannot be sick. A soul cannot be sick. It is just the body. And so miracles transcend the body. And I've talked about this before, but like creating art is also like that, pulling down things from higher dimensions. And that's the beauty of, like, for example, music or writing a piece of music. You're pulling something down, and so when people listen to that, they will see a reflection of their true selves in it, or hear a true reflection, and that will be very moving, and that will be like a sort of connection with God. Um, is the way I understand it. Um, and just a few more, two or three more. Here we go. 24. Miracles enable you to heal the sick and raise the dead, because you made sickness and death yourself and can therefore abolish both. You are a miracle capable of creating in the likeness of your creator. Everything else is your own nightmare and does not exist. Only the creations of light are real. All right, I'm just going to read one more. I could go on. I could read them all. They're so great. Um, yeah, but healing the sick and raising the dead, because we're not a body. And we are our creator. We are made in the likeness of our creator, which means that we can create like our creator. And our creator didn't create death. We created death. And so we can change that. Okay, which sounds pretty intense, right? Yeah, that you can heal the sick and raise the dead, right? Very, very intense, extreme things to say, but there you go. You can do it. Number 26, miracles represent freedom from fear. Atoning means undoing. The undoing of fear is an essential part of the atonement value of miracles. Okay, so atoning, at one-ing, becoming one with God. So that is undoing of all of this fear that we've created about everything, and realizing, oh, we're one with God. Nothing to fear here. All right, so that's what I wanted to read. I wanted to go through those. And then I wanted to, so I've been rereading this book. It's called Tuning the Human Biofield Tuning the Human Biofield by Eileen Day McCusick. And it's a really great technique that she's created. Very similar. I think it's kind of similar to shamanic drumming in a sense, but it's different. It is a very original, very interesting technique. And but I was reading through it, and I found this one part. It's called the 80% syndrome, I think it's called. Yeah, 80% syndrome. So you'll find yourself or people in your lives who have all these projects going on. They're doing all kinds of stuff, but they never finish their projects. It's always 80% done. And they are, 80 percenters, you could call them. And so what she was saying was that from her work with the tuning forks and in the biofield, the biofield is the aura. Um, Used to be called the aura, but I guess they thought it was too new agey, so the scientists call it biofield now. It's the same thing. Um, yeah, but the biofield. So sorry, lost my train of thought. But so what happens is the third chakra, your third chakra. Hey, Kathy. Your third chakra is related to like making plans and completing plans. I think that's what it says. Setting goals and achieving them. Um, so if you have an 80 percenter in your life, or you are an 80 percenter, that means you have issues with your parents, unresolved issues with your parents. And that's related to the third chakra of starting things and finishing things. And I just love it. So what she was saying is, be easy on those people, because they've got issues that they're working out and they're trying to figure things out. And I think it's good. And if you are one of those people, then you can kind of work on that. So what she does is she works on either side of the chakras, and she has a technique of using tuning forks to kind of hear and listen for differences in the frequencies in your biofield. And then if there's a dissonance, she will use the fork in that part in that field until the dissonance is cleared, and then she'll bring that energy into your heart. And it's such a cool method. But 80 percenters, I thought that was very interesting. Okay, that's the second thing. And third thing, solar eclipse. I just wanted to talk about the solar eclipse because there's so many videos out there about the solar eclipse, and how the world is gonna end. It's the end of the world. I've lived through a few ends of the world. It's like the year 2000. I was working in not necessarily IT, but I was like an assistant IT kind of guy. I wasn't very good with computers, and still I'm not, but I was very lucky to someone trusted me enough to. But anyway, um, but yeah, so I was working with computers at the time, and everyone was freaking out because the year 2000, it's that's it. The what was it called, the reset of the systems. Everything would reset to zero because they only had two digits, and like the world's gonna fall apart, and nothing happened. Okay, so that's the one, and then what is it, 2012 or 2011? On the surface, nothing happened. Um, Also, the harmonic convergence, 1987, nothing happened. Okay, so but a lot of things were happening, I think, emotionally and spiritually, and I think that's what that is. I think we have to kind of sometimes take a step back from these dates, these special dates, especially if they are made to be something really big. Like this thing is coming next week, and it's gonna be the end of the world. It's like, okay, maybe it will be, maybe it won't. So I don't know. Who knows? It could be the end of the world, but it might just be another. What is the date? Yeah, it just might be another Friday in April. Um, and the reason I'm bringing this up too is something that I've been realizing a lot recently. So I, uh, I'm not doing it as much as I used to, but I used to go around to a lot of different shrines here in Japan, shrines and temples, and just to feel the power there, the energy there, and learn about this energy that is in these shrines and how it works. And one thing that I've learned a lot about this is that usually they'll have like the shrine will be a building, and everyone goes to that building, and then they kind of pray for whatever their family or whatever it is. But what I've found when I go around sensing the energy, usually the energy's not there. It's usually somewhere behind it or somewhere off where it is. But what I've found when I go around sensing the energy, usually the energy's not there. It's usually somewhere behind it or somewhere off in this small or little shrine that no one goes to, and that's usually where all the energy is. So usually the actual power place is not focused on, and I think that's something to think about when you think about like the media when they're focusing on something. Usually that's a bait and switch. Usually they're making you look here, look here, look here, but it's really over here. Um, yeah, I guess I can share the story. I'm not sure if it's well, I don't think it'll be too scary. Hopefully not. But I had an experience. I don't know if I should. Well, I'll say it anyway. Okay, I was on a tour in a dream, and I was walking with this group of people, and it was kind of like a beautiful shrine. It was all lit up, and it was kind of like getting near sunset. And so, wow, that's cool. And we are about to go back to the tour bus to go back home. And before we left, there was this announcement coming out, and I was listening to us. That's strange. What is this announcement saying? And all the people in the tour were like, "Come on, come on, let's go to the bus. Stop listening. Don't listen to that." And I was like, "No, no, no. I'm going to listen to this. Hold on." And I went in and I started listening to it, and I thought, "Oh, it's talking about like the one world government. It's talking about like NWO and all that kind of stuff." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 hold on a second. What is this place? This is not what I thought it was." And then everyone started, their faces started shifting and changing, and they looked like they were kind of afraid, like, "Don't talk about this, and this is not right." And so I was like, "No, no, no, screw that." And I went up to the shrine. I went inside. I looked inside. I thought, "Oh my God, this is not what I thought it was. This is one of those places, like a shrine to something not good, the opposite side. A, uh, a god that everyone probably knows as it starts with the M word. I don't know if I should say it, but anyway, so that God." And I thought, "Oh my God, that's not right." And I've been tricked into this. I was tricked into this. I'm not, and then I realized that the actual power of the place was coming from behind it. There was this, the shrine was there, huge shrine, but then behind it there was just like a few trees and bushes. But that's where the aiming, and I'm like, "I don't agree with this. This is not what I want in this world. I didn't come here for this, you know, whatever this that you know." BS, I didn't come here. I came here to be free, and I don't need that stuff in my life. I don't need all this, control or whatever. And I was just screaming and screaming. Then all of a sudden, this gust of wind picked me up and like threw me up against a wall. And then I threw me up against like this glass window, and a glass window crashed. And I was like, oh my God, whoops, this is really powerful stuff. But then I was like, oh, you know what? I don't think this is really powerful. And I said, I'm just going to get big. And so I started increasing my size. And so that I was like a giant. I was huge. I was bigger than the whole forest. And then I was looking down at this tiny little shrine. And I was thinking, you know what? I'm just going to crush it with my feet. I'm just going to crunch it because, I don't think anyone needs this kind of energy in the world or in their lives. And this is not right. So I was about to crunch it. And then I stopped and I realized, oh, that's exactly what it would want me to do, to act out of anger. And so the whole thing was a trap. And so I just kind of pulled my foot away and I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm not going to do that. This is and go home. And the strangest part was that all the people distorted. Um, there's something in the news recently about people. There's a disease. It's called the PTO disease, where people see other people and they see like demons or something like that. It was kind of like that. Their faces kind of shifted and changed. And I thought, whoa, that's not good. But it was like, I just need to get on the bus. I'm trying to get home. And but then people started trying to attack me. And so what I started doing, I just used my hand as a like that, and they all just kind of would kind of. It was like this giant burst of wind would come from my hands, and I would just do that, and so they wouldn't get hurt, but just kind of like fly away a bit, And then I was just doing that on the way back home, and finally I was waiting for the bus, and I was trying to wait behind a wall because I didn't want anyone else, I didn't want anyone else, attacking me. So it was a really strange dream, but um, the reason that I'm bringing it up is, yeah, we have a lot more power than we think we do. And like even power, so this destructive power, yeah, like I could have easily just destroyed it. But then I would have just become the same energy as that, the energy of destruction. And also, the other idea is that it's bait and switch. Everyone's focusing on one thing, but it's actually behind it. The real thing is behind it. And so, yeah, went a little off tangent. I hope the story is not too scary for anyone. It wasn't scary for me. It was just very interesting. Like in those situations, just get big, get really big, and realize how big you really are. And then you can just, if you want to, you can destroy the whole thing. But I don't recommend it. I recommend forgiveness, and I recommend just not associating with it. It's good to understand what you're up against. Yeah. Thanks, Kathy. Get big. I like with compassion. Yeah, get big with compassion. Just get really, really big and show I am this big. The fear that you're trying to instill in me doesn't do anything. You see how big I am, how powerful I am. I could destroy this whole thing. Why are you trying to scare me? Stop. That kind of thing. And yeah, I guess, yeah. Whew. Well, that's the first time I've told that like in public. It's kind of, anyway, so I hope it's not scary. And yeah, so the solar eclipse, I'm not sure. Again, no one really can predict the future. You can only predict probabilities. But with this situation, um, it's possible that it's nothing, and it's possible that it's a bait and switch. It's possible that, um, yeah. But I would say, yeah, just if something is being made so big, just what's the word? Be aware of your surroundings, stuff like that. But I don't think it's something to worry about. Um, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's my story. All right, here we go. And then I'm just going to go into a channeling. Okay, here we go. Oh, before I go, really cool thing I just read about in Course in Miracles, and it's about revelation. And so they have a definition of what is revelation. So revelation unites you directly with God. Miracles unite you directly with your brother. So I just want to share that. It's very cool. Okay, here we go. Going into a channeling. My question is, can they give us any advice about, uh, yeah, baits and switches and things like that? Or can they give us any advice about what's going on in the world today or in our lives? Here you go. Greetings. We are that one that you know of as Sanatkumara, and we're here, and we're here, and we're here, and we're here, and we just want to keep saying Sanatkumara. We just want to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. With this energy, we want to bring it up and 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 bring it up. Like this being is saying, when he gets big, we can get big too. You can all get big because you are all big. You've never been small. You just think you're small. You just think you're packed into this body that you're in, but you're huge. You're huge. You're huge. You are the size of a universe. And when you realize how big you are, then you start to connect more with who you truly are. And then you can see and shine your light into the world that you see. And you can shine your light into those places, into those things that you might think of as frightening. But when you realize how big you are, you realize how not frightening they are. They are just children's toys. They're just children's toys trying to scare you. They're just little masks that people put on, but they're nothing compared to your power, because your power is an extension of love, of God energy, of source energy. And that's who you are. And that's where you come from. You have the power and you have the energy to shift and change the entire world. One of you connecting with this energy has so much power. You would be surprised if you realized how much power you truly have and what you're going through in your daily lives. Every day you go through all of these different things. You go to work, you come home, you go to sleep, you eat too much, you eat too little, you stop eating, you start eating, all of these different things that you're going through. And what is happening though is that you are starting to realize how big you are. You're starting to realize that a lot of these things that you held so important to yourselves, that you had to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. You don't have to do anything because you are big. You're bigger than that. You're bigger than one day. You're bigger than a week. You're bigger than a year. So this constriction that you feel, that you've placed yourself in, is starting to shift and change, and you're starting to find yourself outside of the bars of time. The bars of time seem to be catching you and trying to trap you in. But if you look at those bars as musical bars, not the bars of a prison, but the bars of a symphony, and if you start to look at the bars in that way, then things will start to shift and change, and you'll realize that you can control this, you can change this, you can make this song, and you can make it your song, you can make it your song, and you can sing it all day, and you can see the world start to shift and change in the way that you would love it to. And you can start to create that paradise, that heaven on earth, that extension of that energy of who you truly are. When you get big, everything else gets small, and then you can truly see your power. And that is what we'd like to say about this. And this being is talking about a time, this solar eclipse, this energy. Yes, it's wonderful. Energy is good. Energy is good. And there are many, many narratives. You might say stories. Your world is built on stories, and you are all wonderful storytellers, and you are weaving these stories together. And so you pick up the stories that you hear on the big screens, and on your small screens, and all of your screens. They're telling this story, and then you pick up the story, and then you start shifting and changing that narrative as well, because you are also a storyteller. You are a teller of stories. So when you hear these stories, understand that you are the storyteller as well. You can change the characters, you can change it, and you can change it to the way that you'd like to see it. Now, the story itself, the plot line and the characters are all given you. You're given the plot line and the characters, but you can change the emphasis. You can change the emphasis on what is happening. This is supposed to happen and it's very big, but you can turn this story into a love story, or you can turn it into a detective story, or you can turn it into a children's book. You are free to change this story into the way you'd like it. Imagine this fear that is being built up and created around this one day, special day. Understand how big you are, and how big and how small days are, and how the fact that they don't exist, that this concept of time is just something that you've created. This day does not exist in the way that you think it does, and you are so much bigger than a day. But what we would say is that you can change. Imagine if you changed this day, the story that is being given, if you changed it into a children's book, how wonderful would that be? On this day, a beautiful thing happened. And it's a children's book. It's got stories. It's got a moral in the end. And so when it gets dark in the middle of the day, you turn on your flashlight or you turn on the light. And it's fun to turn on the light in the middle of the day. Turn this story into a detective novel. Turned it into, yes, a romantic fiction, whatever you'd like. But that is the power that you have to shift and change these days. And the more of you that start to shift and change that, the more you can create, as we've said, this heaven on earth. The stories are given you through the news, but you can change them. You can change them. Mm. All right. So, yeah, I'm the size of the universe. Yes, Kathy, you are the size of the universe. Yeah, we're huge. Whew, whew. It's a good thing to remember, right? When you're stuck in a situation, just get big, get real big, and then you'll kind of things will start to. I guess you'll gain perspective. Um, this is like Esmeralda's teaching or meditation technique, where you just kind of imagine yourself as the ocean, and you just think, I am the ocean, and I'm so big. I'm bigger than all of this. All of these problems are just nothing. I am the ocean, and the whole ocean, the whole earth, the depth of the ocean and all of the creatures swimming in it. I am the ocean. And just then you sing a note that comes into your mind, and it just, whew, it just lets that all go out. And you get really big and gives you perspective. Uh, Kathy said, wow, that was great. Thanks, Sanat. Yeah, thank you. I love the Esmeralda meditation. Yeah, me too. Thank you. Yeah, I do that every day. It's really, really good for clearing out stuff, especially if you had like a rough night with dreams and stuff. My phone keeps like dinging. It's kind of like emphasizing all these things. So, all right, guys. So, wow, talked a lot today. That's it for today. Yeah, Kathy. Yeah, practice. Yeah, that's great. That's great. It really, I mean, I practice it every morning, and it just really helps me so much. It helps me to get out all of that energy and just, yeah, I recommend it. Yep. So that's it. Yeah. Thank you, Kathy. And today's flowers. Da-da-da-dum. Feel the flower energy. I don't even know the names of these flowers. They're called bellflowers. Can't you see that? It's a bellflower. So they make noise. Can you hear it? Ding. No, I don't think. Okay, so I don't know if they make noise, but all right, guys. So yes, yeah, Kathy. So the Hathor Singing book. So I wrote. I have two books, or short, very short books, but the Hathor Singing book and the Dragon book. And the meditation that I was just talking about is from the Hathor Singing book, and there's a link below if you're interested. And the Dragon book's pretty interesting as well. Well, for me, I thought. Um, and oh, you heard the flowers. Yeah, nice. Thanks. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining in today, Kathy and Maria, and I will see you guys. Uh, see you guys tomorrow. Oh.